Your spine doesn't fail under heavy sets because the weight is too heavy. It fails because torque beats your bracing before the representative is over. The common myth is that bracing is just take a big breath and squeeze your abs. What decides whether your back stays unbreakable is whether you can lock ribcage and pelvis into one unit. Then keep your center of mass stacked as the bar tries to fold you. Bracing is not a feeling. It's a mechanical condition. You're turning your trunk into a rigid cylinder so force transfers through bone and fascia instead of collapsing into the lumbar segments. In physics terms, the bar creates a forward bending moment, torque, around your hips and spine. If your trunk stiffness is low, that torque makes your ribcage flare, your pelvis tilt, and your lumbar spine takes the shear. When your stiffness is high, the torque gets spent across the whole cylinder and the load routes into your hips and legs. Biomechanically, your spine isn't a single hinge. It's a stack of joints that hate shear and love compression when aligned. Your bracing muscles aren't just the visible abs. Your diaphragm creates intra-abdominal pressure, IAP. Your obliques and transverse abdominis create circumferential tension. Your pelvic floor closes the bottom of the system. And your lats tie your arms to your torso so the bar doesn't drag your ribcage out of position. Stabilizers do the job. Movers express the job. When people get stuck, it's usually strategic misunderstanding. They chase more core work instead of building the exact stiffness pattern that matches heavy sets. You think it's about strong abs, but it's actually about controlling ribcage-pelvis relationship under load. Representative after representative. At the moment the bar is trying to change your shape. Here's the bracing formula you can run on every heavy set. Exhale to stack right pointing arrow. Inhale 360 degrees to pressurize right pointing arrow. Lock ribcage down to pelvis. Right pointing arrow. Anchor the bar with lats. Right pointing arrow. Move while holding pressure. The first part matters because if you inhale on a flared ribcage, you're pressurizing a broken container. So before you even touch the bar, you do a short exhale through the mouth like you're fogging a mirror. And you feel your ribs come down and your pelvis come under you, neutral. Not tucked hard. If your posture is already extended, this single exhale fixes the starting geometry. Now you inhale, but not up into the chest. You inhale 360 degrees, belly expands forward. Sides expand into your obliques. And your low back expands into the belt line even if you're not wearing a belt. That's IAP. Then you lock it by tightening around the air, not by crushing down. If you feel your shoulders rising and your neck tightening, you're inhaling wrong. Your next cue is lats. Before you pull your armpits down toward your pockets. This connects the bar to your trunk so the bar can't peel your ribs up. Apply it in real lifts. If you set up for a deadlift and your hips shoot up, you're losing the stack before the floor breaks. That means your bracing stiffness is lower than the torque the bar is creating. You respond by bringing your shins to the bar, setting your hips where your shoulders are slightly in front of the bar. Then doing that small exhale to stack. You take your 360 degrees inhale, lock, and then you push the floor away while keeping your chest angle constant for the first inch. If your chest pops up early, you're extending. If your back rounds instantly, you're collapsing. The bar should move while your trunk shape stays the same. If you squat and good morning, out of the hole, your hips are escaping your center of mass. That's a bracing leak plus a balance leak. You fix it by setting your foot pressure tripod, big toe, little toe, heel, and keeping the bar over midfoot. At the bottom, you don't think stand up. You think ribs down, hips under, drive straight up. Your knees and hips extend together while your torso angle changes gradually, not violently. If your ribs flare at the sticking point, you lost the lock. Rerun the formula. Quick exhale to restack at the top. 360 inhale, lats tight, then representative. 3 common failure points show up fast. 1. You inhale and your ribs flare. Your abs look bigger but your spine is now an arch under load. 2. You brace hard but your pelvis dumps forward, giving you an anterior tilt that turns the lumbar spine into a hinge. 3. You lose lats. The bar drifts. And now torque increases because the lever arm gets longer. In the set, you correct by reducing speed for one representative, re-stacking with a controlled exhale at the top, and re-anchoring lats before you descend or pull again. Here's where most people stop, but here's the advanced layer. Once you can create pressure, you must prove you can hold it through time and range. Heavy sets don't break you on the first second. They break you when fatigue turns your brace into a slow leak. The upgrade is tempo and pauses with auto-regulation. On your main lift, keep your top sets heavy, but add 2 back-off sets with a 3-second eccentric and a 1-second pause at the hardest position, bottom of squat. Just off the floor in deadlift, or the first inch out of the hole. Use RIR. Stop the set when you have about 1 to 2 reps in reserve with perfect trunk shape. This trains stiffness, endurance and position control, not just strength expression. You use it when your form degrades under heavy loads, or when you feel fine, but your back gets lit up the next day. Classic sign your spine took shear instead of your trunk taking torque. To integrate this, you train bracing like a skill, not a warm-up ritual. Beginner protocol. 2 to 3 days per week. After your main lift, do 3 sets of 20 to 30 seconds hard brace holds in your exact lifting posture, hinge for deadlift. Tall stack for squat, with 60 to 90 seconds rest. Then 2 sets of 6 reps tempo work, 3 seconds down. Controlled up, at light moderate load. Intermediate protocol. 3 to 4 days per week. Keep 1 top set heavy, 3 to 6 reps. Then 2 back-off sets with 3 to 1 tempo at RIR 1 to 2. Rest 2 to 3 minutes. And finish with 2 sets of carries or front-loaded holds for 30 to 45 seconds to force ribcage pelvis lock under breathing. Retention is 1 sentence cue plus 1 checkpoint. Cue. Exhale to stack. Inhale 360. Lock. Lats on. Checkpoint. If ribs flare or bar drifts, the set ends. Stack this with movements that reinforce the same mechanics. Deadlift. Front-loaded carry. Squat. Tempo pause. Overhead press. Ribcage down brace holds. Then you test under pressure with a 90-second bracing endurance test. Pick a light to moderate load you can hold in a hinge position. Set a timer for 90 seconds. And maintain a neutral spine while breathing through the nose with short controlled exhales. Pass if your ribcage stays down, your pelvis stays neutral, and your back doesn't pump from shaking. Fail if your ribs flare, your hips shoot back, or you start grabbing air into your chest. If you want this to stick, rewatch the parts where the exhale sets the stack and the 360 inhale locks the cylinder. Those 2 moments decide everything that happens under the bar. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in future videos. And subscribe to the channel.